So with that said, I would like to introduce Lynn Broughton from Green Bay Public Schools. She and her team are participating in a program that we're supporting 10 districts across the country in an educator cohort program to really increase their Bookshare usage and further implement it across their districts. So with that, Lynn, if you would like to kind of jump on and talk a little bit about your district's experience using Bookshare.
I sure can. Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn. I am an occupational therapist in the Green Bay schools, and I also provide assistive technology support. I'm kind of part-time to the district. So like Laura said, I'm part of the Bookshare cohort, which has been a phenomenal program to increase our usership and awareness of accessible materials and using Bookshare within our district. And it's been a great partnership so far as we're just kind of getting our feet wet. A little bit of information about the Green Bay schools. I am on the assistive technology team for a couple of years now, but we have an organizational membership, and it was in existence before I even worked in the district, and it was managed by our VI staff. And I had gone to Closing the Gap in Minneapolis and listened to somebody talk about Bookshare, and I'm like, oh my goodness, why are we not using this? That I think far and away, Bookshare is one of the most underutilized resources that we have at our fingertips, and it's free. So there's not, there's really, really no barriers to this. If it's about empowering kids and getting books in their hands and making them accessible at no cost to anybody. So I think right there, it's like triple win, kind of home run for the use of Bookshare. Laura kept talking about empowerment and how, that is one of the greatest benefits of Bookshare, and I couldn't agree more. We have dozens of stories of how we have, just seen kids who are reluctant readers just because it's hard, because of fluency or decoding or, some of those learning issues that they have where they get a book put at them and there's just that immediate shutdown where, hey, this is too much text, and they are just kind of overwhelmed with it or, shut down before they're even jumping into the task. And Bookshare has really opened a lot of doors for our students just to have that accessible piece to it and remove some of those barriers just to make it more participatory. Just a quick story. There was a student, a fifth grader, that I saw for OT support, and I grabbed him from library checkout, and I noticed he didn't have a book in his hand, and I said to him, well, hey, I noticed you don't have a book. Did you not want to check anything out? And he said, well, why would I bother? I can't read anyway. And I was disheartened by that, and I thought, no, we got to do something about this, and there's the perfect tool to do that. And, I just kind of said, what books would you like to read? And he wanted to read, The Lightning Thief and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And, his friends were reading the 39 Clues series. And he couldn't participate in that because even though he was a fifth grader, his reading level was at a second grade comprehension level and fluency and decoding. And so we got him a Bookshare account, and not shortly after I was walking behind him in the hallway, he didn't know I was there, and he was having a conversation about one of the books that he read with a peer. And I thought, here's the kid who was throwing books across the room, a month and a half ago because he had no interest in reading whatsoever because it was so hard and so effortful, and we were able to provide him a tool to, make the materials more accessible and make him more confident and just socially, just have that social connection with his peers that I never would have thought that boy would be having a conversation about academic material with a peer, when I had first met him. So, that's just one small story, but we have countless others in our districts, how Bookshare has really opened doors for a lot of our students who, again, are just initially shutdown mode when that reading piece is there. And of course, because of the decoding and the fluency, they aren't accessing the material that they should. And they're working so hard to read the text that, they're missing the meaning of it and forgetting what they're reading about. And by having it read out loud to them, that's really eliminating a lot of barriers for them, academically, socially, confidence, giving that empowerment to them to just be more confident in their learning. Our district has an organizational membership. When it was managed by our VI teacher, and so we have been adding slowly. We still have lots of supports in place for those students with visual impairments. We certainly have a fair amount of users who have physical impairments and couldn't physically, turn the book pages, so they have the electronic text. But I think our sweet spot that we're finding in our district is those kids with learning difficulties where, that comprehension piece, that decoding, that fluency, where that's really been the sweet spot for our district. And we're really seeing the most use out of it and the most success with it. I think where our application in our district is strongest with some of those supplemental materials. In Green Bay, our teaching and learning and curriculum department are really great about having electronic resources as part of our textbook package where they have, they've also vetted the electronic resource so our students have access to that for, modifications and adaptations and accessibility. But it's a lot of those supplemental materials where, the books in the book room or the materials in the library or when kids are doing research projects, that was kind of a missing piece for our district to be able to have our students access those materials. And Bookshare's really filled that gap. Um, for those high school kids who, are reading The Great Gatsby. Well, everybody else is being passed out a paper copy of the book, and we have so many students that can't access it. So it's so nice to be able to have it on the computer so then they can use the tools within the Bookshare reader, which I know Lara will show in a minute. But that's really, really been a game changer for so many of our students. My favorite story is a girl with dyslexia who really would not read at all. Like she used to love to be read to, and her comprehension is so high, and she's just a little bookworm. But as reading got challenging and the content got harder, she was not participating at all and actually hated reading and became a little bit of a behavior problem because of it. There was so much resistance to reading. And last year, her and her seventh grade team were the Battle of the Books champs at their middle school because she had completed all of the books and she was the one that read the most and remembered them just by having it read out loud to her. She was able to participate in a meaningful way and get her love of reading back. So the thing I really, really like about Bookshare is there's just so many different options to support kids with, a lot of the modifications that you can make within the program, to make it more accessible for our students. I do think that because it's free, the platform is very easy to use. It's very user friendly. So those of you who indicated a 1 or a 2 in the, what your familiarity with Bookshare is, jump on board because I was a 1 or a 2, 2 years ago, and it has made such a difference for so many of our students that we're working so hard to grow our usership of those students because we are seeing the value and the success in our district for our students' participation and engagement and academic achievement. And, all the things are really, really clicking for so many of our students. And Bookshare's kind of single-handedly been the tool that's been getting them there in a lot of different ways. So we are believers in Green Bay and really trying hard to get as much of these accessible materials in the hands of our kids that we can.
Great, thank you. We love hearing those stories because working, being removed from students, we don't, hear these, often. We're not seeing the students using. So I always love hearing those positive stories. So thank you very much for sharing.